I wrote War in the Woods at the request of several people to tell a story that hadn't been told yet, and to tell it through a game warden's eyes that is focusing on environmental crime, protecting wildlife, seeing poached and tons of animals dead inside grow sites caused by these trespass growers, and how armed and dangerous they are, and such a big threat to public safety given the violent encounters we've had with several of these grow site raids. After the first about 12 or 13 years of my career as a game warden doing mostly the traditional game warden job, I found my first cartel grow, and the job morphed into something that I would have never imagined. And what the marijuana cartel, environmental crime, public safety, dangerous suspects, all these different experiences that were somewhat out of the box than what people think traditional game wardens normally do, became what's now turned into the first full-time team dedicated to fighting the marijuana cartels for our environment and to protect our public safety after a whole lot of close calls in the woods. My first cartel grow encounter was on a pristine stream in the middle of nowhere. We stumbled into a 7,000 plant cartel marijuana grow that I'd never seen before. And inside it were two armed growers, literally only 20-30 yards from us. I had to call for help because marijuana cases is not something game wardens did at the time. It's just not something we were familiar with. So called our local narcotics task force, was then introduced to the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office, some state park rangers, and then kind of guided the raid for them, being familiar with the site, and went on my first marijuana eradication mission. We had more missions throughout the next year, one very dangerous one where we were ambushed by armed growers. My partner warden was shot through both legs by an AK-47. That brought more attention to how dangerous this job was, how environmentally devastating it was, how much more equipment, training, and dedication we needed, and that started more and more missions throughout the entire state. This is kind of like going into a war zone every time we go into a mission. The men and women that I work with that I highlight in the book and are codenamed fellow game wardens, sheriff's deputies, law enforcement officers from Forest Service are highly trained, dedicated tactical professionals that do one of the most dangerous jobs and risk their lives every time they go in to raid one of these grow sites to try to protect the environment and, most importantly, protect the rest of the public safety and put their lives on the line on every mission we go in. The book benefits tactical operators like myself and my teammates because it goes in specifically to tactics and field craft and weaponry and how to train and prepare for this type of job, not only in California but in any other part of the country. But at the same time, legal cultivators are looking at this and seeing the environmental damages out there, and they're totally behind the mission we're about, and they're totally about fighting the mission that we're about. With what we knew then during the period that War in the Woods was written based on those experiences, and what we know now after all of the progressive learning development we've had to this full-time team now, let's just say this is to be continued. And where we left off in War in the Woods, we're going to pick up at full speed and just keep running with more good stories.